Hi guys, welcome to the May Week 1 Games Solution Walkthrough video. So for those who submitted in the competition, congrats, I already let you know who won the points, but some of you still made some errors, so let's walk through the brief today, let's code it out and actually preview it in an email. And again, for those who want to watch it quicker, watch it in 1.5 times speed or 2 times speed for quicker learning. So let's get to it. So this is the brief for week 1. It's to create a registration confirmation email. So this is quite common. I did simplify it, but let's go through it and see what we need to do. So you are tasked with creating a registration confirmation email for an online platform that collects data during the sign-up process. So the email should confirm specific details by the customer, which include a bunch of different fields that we need to reference, right? And if the information is incorrect, the customer should prompt with a click to link to update the details, right? So it seems pretty straightforward. These are some of the requirements here. This is the sample data that we're playing with. So this is the data in our data extension. And yeah, we need to output what we need in the actual email template like so here. So let's start coding. So first step, always open your AMPscript block with the opening and ending tags, okay? Now, what fields do we need to retrieve in the sample data or in the data extension that we need to play with? So we can see that we need the first name data, we need, full name. So let's go step by step. Okay, so first name, let's retrieve this first. So most of you guys actually assumed that the first name field had no space, while in the actual data extension, as you can see here, it has a space, right? This is important because if you don't include that space in the actual, square brackets, then Marketing Cloud would error out when you preview the email because it doesn't know that the field exists in that data extension. It doesn't recognize it, right? So you need to make sure that every field name reference in the AMPscript must match the field name in the data extension. That's really important. Okay, so let's retrieve all our fields that we need. Okay, so I just made a quick fast forwarded. We need to retrieve every field in this data extension here. Okay, so let's add a comment. Let's keep it nice and clean. Retrieve all fields, all required fields. There we go. So the reason why I want to create these as variables is because in the future, say for example, we're using a different data extension, all these variables have already been set and we only need to change the field names in here when we're referencing a new data extension. If we were to, use these fields directly in the output, then we'll need to figure out and change each component where we're referencing this field, which does take time. So that's why I like to always create things as variables. Okay, so now that we have all our fields here, what do we need to do? So the marketer will like you to populate the email template. Yep, first name is to be cleaned up. So we can see in the first name data here that, some records are obviously in not the right proper casing, right? So we need to clean that up. As a safety, let's also trim it as well in case some of these records do have some spaces. So let's create a new comment. Logic for, name cleaning. Let's do that. So let's go create a new one called first name trim. I'm going to trim my first name record like so. Paste in the variable there. I'm also going to just make myself, there we go. Cool. Now we can apply the proper case, right? Final first name. Proper case. I'm going to proper case the first name trim variable because that's the variable that I've trimmed my current first name already, right? That's the end result. So then when the end result of the trim function, I want to proper case it and that's our final first name variable that we want to print out. Yeah. So even with this one right here, we can use this variable straight away and print it out in here. Like so. So first, let's look at the email template. We can see that the first component here is we need the full name. So the full name, meaning that we need to include the last name as well. And as you can see here, the last name is also in proper casing. We need to clean that up. So let's do the same thing. Now we have our two, first name and last name final variables that we can print out in here. So we can just print out the two variables side by side next to each other, like so. Let me show you first. So we literally can do this, right? And then space, let me create a space there. and just paste in the last name. So we can do that if we really wanted to. We can also concatenate it, which some of you guys did, which is good. So I can call it final full name equals concat. Let's concat the final first name in here. Let's add a space. So remember, you need to include the spacing within a concat function, or so they just be right next to each other, and then put the final last name in here. There we go. So this is our final variable, and we can just print out one variable instead of printing out two. Okay, cool. That's the full name done. So now preferences. Okay, so let's look at preferences. In terms of preferences, it looks like it's all good. It looks like we don't need to clean it up. So we literally can just print out the preference variable, which I named it as pref. Let's copy and paste this. Paste it in there. Like so. So that's pref variable done. Just keep it consistent with the lowercase v. Okay, so phone number. So in here they said, okay, phone number and date of birth can be displayed as is. Because this brief, let's keep it simple. We're still learning here. So we don't need to reformat it. So let's just print it out. So with the phone number, we literally just print out the phone number. We don't need to clean it up in this case. Phone number's there. Date of birth, let's get date of birth. We don't need to clean that up. So we're fine there as well. Cool. Now with the email, let's see, what do we need to do? Email is to display in lowercase. That's fine. So let's go, create a comment. Logic for email formatting. Let's go set email lower equals lowercase. Just keep it simple and just paste in our email variable here, like so. And that's pretty much it for lowercasing your email. So let's print out this variable in here. There we go. And now the final bit is the address. So the address needs to be in this format. Okay, so 123 Main Street. So 123 Main Street looks like that's the street address. CA. Okay, looks like that's the state. 12345. That looks like the postcode. New South Wales. Okay, where is New South Wales? That looks quite odd there. And then USA. Okay, the country. Okay, cool. So just looking at this brief, this is one of the kind of considerations or the, the confusions that I made on purpose in the brief for you guys to kind of question and clarify with the marketer, or just add comments in this brief here to question, right? Always question the brief. Don't assume the brief is always 100% correct, because there will be a scenario where sometimes the marketer themselves don't really understand the data and there will be inconsistencies, right? So in this case, I would question where this New South Wales is coming from, because it looks like that the state is in fact, CA here. So it looks like the format for the full address is street address, state, postcode, and then country. And this one here, I'm not sure what's happening here. So we'll question that to the marketer. But in this case, let's create our logic for the full address. So let's concatenate everything. Full address equals concat. Let's build out our full address. Here's street address. So let's grab street address. Let's zoom out a bit. Okay, comma. Let's create a space. So the format, we need to include a comma and space, like so. Nice. So the next component is state. So let's grab the state, paste it in here, comma. Let's add our comma space as well as a string, because this is what separates the variables and strings. So this is our first variable and this component is our string. So that's how we kind of build out the sentence or the full address. So the next component after state is postcode. Let's grab the postcode, paste it in there. Like so. Again, let's add our comma and space. Let's zoom out a bit even further. I'll move myself up there. So after postcode, and then we have our country, right? Space in our country variable, like so. And that's it. That's our full address variable. So let's copy and paste our full address variable. Let's go back in here and paste in our full address variable. And there we go. That's pretty much it. So let's see how this looks like in an email. So I have prepped an email already. This is our sample data extension. As you can see here, nice. Pretty much all the data that you have or you see in the brief. Let's open up this test email. Cool. This is our sample brief here, and essentially we need to populate what we did in the brief. Where's my brief? In here, in our actual template. So I'm going to do that. I'll fast forward and let's preview what this looks like. Let's first copy and paste our code snippet to the content block at the top. Boom. Done. And there we go. So we have all our variables printed out here. We have our code snippet at the top that drives the logic for everything we've done here. And we should be good to go. So let's save this and let's preview it. We should be good. Let's preview our sample data. Cool. There we go. So John Doe, that's all cleaned up in proper case. Vegetarian. Our phone number like so. We're just printing out just as is. We don't need a formatter for this brief assignment, but let's have a look. Let's see the address. So 123 Main Street, state, postcode, and country. Very simple, nice. Emails on lowercase, yep. And this is our date of birth. Awesome. So of course with the date of birth, for this sample brief, we're just going to print it out just as is, just to keep it simple. Later on in the future games, we're going to make it more complex where you need to reformat it. So this looks good. Let's preview a few other records here. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So awesome stuff for those who've completed this. Again, most of you guys did make the error where you're referencing the wrong field. You need to make sure you just copy and paste whatever's in a data extension, right? In a data extension, you can see these records or these fields do have spaces in there. Don't just assume they're an underscore or they're one word. Just copy and paste it, because if one of these are wrong, your email won't preview. You'll get that red notification error. So anyways, awesome stuff, guys. See you in the next games. And again, at the end of each game, or each month rather, you get to win a prize. You get to win, Amazon gift cards. And at the end of a quarter, you get to win a Salesforce certification voucher. So keep the challenges going, keep the games going, and see you guys in the next one.